All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Steaks with Mates. I am your host, health coach Joff, and today I'm joined with the wonderful Bernadette, who I've met twice now in two different occasions, but similar events. And she's got a wonderful, amazing story that we'll delve into and get to know her a little bit more. So, welcome, Bernadette. Thank you for coming along.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's wonderful to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's start from the beginning and go through a little bit of a timeline of your journey. When did your health journey begin, and what's happened along the way?
Yeah, well, my health journey, that's been a long, long journey, but it really, so I had started experimenting with all kinds of different things many, many years ago, and I always had this interest in finding out what we really should be eating. Maybe even back when I was 20, I always had this desire to find out what we should be really eating, and of course, I was led by the misleading guidelines and informations that oils are better than fat and we shouldn't be eating so much meat and all those things. I went down all those routes. The problem was always for me, and that was very critical, is that I had a massive sweet tooth, which it's cutesily we call a sweet tooth, but really we should call it a massive sugar addiction, which I was
Right.
struggling with from childhood. So I just loved sweets. So even though I tried all kinds of things, and then further down the track, I went down the paleo way. I tried that for a while, didn't really work. I couldn't really keep my sugar cravings at bay, and I was still eating lots of sweets, kept reverting back to that. But really, where the interesting part of the story starts, for the purpose of this conversation, was 2 years ago when I accidentally stumbled across the carnivore diet. And that was totally by chance, by listening to a podcaster that I was following at the time. And he interviewed Dr. Chaffee, and the video, the famous video, Plants Are Trying to Kill You, got mentioned in that interview. And that really piqued my interest, because I always thought that it can't be right to be eating all these vegetables. They are modern inventions. They are being sprayed with all kinds of things. I wasn't even aware of the defense chemicals that were in plants. It was purely from the perspective of, they are being cultured, they've been hybridized, they've been genetically modified, they are being sprayed with pesticides. But anyway, when I found the Anthony Chaffee's presentation on Plants Are Trying to Kill You on YouTube, and I watched it, I was completely blown away. And I thought, oh my goodness, I always thought there was something sus about vegetables, and there
Yeah.
you are. They are trying to kill us. And beforehand, I was eating tons of vegetables, tons of big salads for lunch with a tiny bit of meat or a couple of eggs, which I could never give up. I could have never given. I could never be a vegetarian, but I did, or a vegan, but I did love vegetables and salads at the time, and fruit, of course, fruit, sweet fruit. Who doesn't love fruit? So, but that point, I was like, oh my goodness, this is really amazing. This is very new information, but it makes perfect sense. And then Ken Berry's video popped up. I heard from another podcaster who was talking about his sister trying the carnivore diet and working for her really well. So the craziness, although it sounded crazy, it started to seep into my mind that this could be something that maybe I should be trying. And then literally one day from another, which was a bit of a mistake later on, as it turned out, I jumped in. I said, this is it, I'm trying. I remember the first meal I had was a packet of the Cleaver's hot dogs, beef hot dogs, which
Oh,
are
yeah.
just made of meat and a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder, which is not that bad. I just had a packet of
Yeah.
that and I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to be carnivore now. or I'm going to try it. And within a few days, I felt this euphoric feeling. I felt like I was full of energy. I felt like I was walking above the ground. Just felt so good suddenly. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Wow. But it was still quite weird to me, the concept. And I kept thinking, can this be right? Is this really right? Because the programming that was running still in my head was still so strong that, you have to eat your fruits, you have to eat your vegetables, mainly vegetables, lots of vegetables, so many portions a day. So it was still a bit hard. So listening to Dave Mack's interviews with people on a daily basis, that really kept me on track, especially when I had a little bit of gut issues. That was a reason, the result of me jumping in head first instead of gradually transitioning over. So I had a bit of gut upset for a few weeks, and then I was thinking, oh, is this going to end? This is really unpleasant. But on the other hand, I don't want to give this up now. I feel so good on this diet, and I'm enjoying what I'm eating, but I don't want to give it up. And then everything settled down, and everything was good. And I started noticing things, started to think clearer. My brain fog dissipated. Little issues like itchy scalp went away. My digestion, which I had always struggled with, had constant issues when I was eating vegetables, that went away. I just felt comfortable in my gut, in my tummy, no more heartburn, no more bloating, all of those things. And I just overall felt really, really good. And it was amazing. And about 7 months into it, my skin cleared up, a lot of the inflammation disappeared from my face. Now I look back old photos before I started, and I looked like an old woman, like a real, like somebody who's not in a good place health wise. Although I didn't have any major health issues, but I think I would have been heading down the metabolic disease path quite a lot. I think I was quite far down into it. I just didn't realize yet because I have quite a strong constitution. So the things that were waiting for me weren't really starting to show just yet. But I think I was on the cusp of metabolic disease. I had quite a lot of fat around my midline, my waist. And as it turned out, a lot on my back, which I didn't even know at the time. The only trouble was that although I was following the eat until you're comfortably starved, eat until food doesn't taste good, eat tons of butter and lots of fat and, all kinds of conflicting information, the weight just didn't seem to come off me as quickly as I would have hoped for. I managed to lose about 4 kilos, but it wasn't enough for me. I could tell that I still had quite a bit to go. And that was a bit frustrating. And I waited another 7 months, approximately. And that's when I went on the this body transformation program. It was 3 or 4 months. I managed to lose another 11 kilos. I slimmed down.
Wow.
I couldn't believe the photos of my back because I was taking progress photos every 2 weeks, front, back, and the side, comparing the results. And after about 8 weeks, it already started to show a lot. But after 12 weeks, the difference was just mind-blowing. As it turned out, although I was carrying quite a bit of weight of fat on my front, but my back was just incredible how it slimmed down and toned up. And I went from this pudgy body, overweight, not massively, but still overweight, to this lean and muscular physique, which is actually absolutely incredible. And, for everybody who thinks that you can't have an amazing body because of this, that, or other, or because of your age, or because I'm not talking so much to the carnivore people, it's more people who are outside of this space who still think, I'm too old for this. It's too late for me. It's my genetics. No, it's not. No, it's not. You can, yes, genetics determine your height and certain things about your body structure. Like, you're not going to get longer legs or shorter legs or whatever, or shorter arms if you go on a carnivore diet or if you go on a body composition program. So there are certain things that are given, but still, whatever God's given you or whatever your genetics have given you, you can still bring the absolute maximum out of that with a good program.
I hope you're enjoying the episode so far, but before we get back into it, I really want to talk about something I think is very important for health and longevity, and it's about adult stem cells. Did you know that adult stem cells are essential for the repair and renew of damaged and old cells in your body? But here's the catch. As you age, the number of adult stem cells in your circulation decreases. By age of 35, your natural release of adult stem cells can drop up to 45%. By 50, it can drop as much as 50%. And by 65, it can plummet by up to 90%. Fortunately though, there is a solution. There is a product out there in the market that naturally increases the amount of adult stem cells that circulate in your bloodstream. It's by a company called Cerule, and the magical product is called Stem Enhance Ultra. And there's also a bunch of amazing products that Cerule offer that help with the migration of adult stem cells. Now, to check this out for yourself, go click the link below that I'll provide in the video description. And I should also note that you can get your products for free. So check it out, and with that, let's get back to the show. That's awesome. And before we move on, I have to ask you, would you mind telling me how old you are?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm 54.
54. You do not
Yes.
look 54.
Oh, thank you.
Bernadette, you look so much younger in person. And wow, I cannot wait to actually look at your before and after photos. I think I have seen your transformation when you did the body composition change, but it will be a really good comparison to see from start to finish, which I'll do that after this recording.
Yeah, I can send you some photos. There's actually one photo which I took literally the day when I made my mind up to do carnivore, which is 2 years ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
I still
Yes.
am psyching myself up for it to post it, and I will post it on social media because that's incredible. Like, it's not a pretty photo of me. It's not a very flattering photo at all, but it's a really good way to show the incredible changes that happened to me. So what I'm
Yes.
planning to do is post that photo 2 years ago, then 14 months after,
Yes.
when I was 14 months carnivore and I only lost 4 kilos, how I looked then,
Yes.
and then after the body transformation. Because people don't realize that
Yes.
the potential that you can still do. Yes, carnivore is wonderful to heal health issues. I absolutely 100% believe in
Yes.
that. But if you want an extraordinary physique or take it to the next level, it's really good to dial in. And I'm sorry, I'm going
Yes.
to say stuff that some people in the carnivore space are not willing to hear or not ready to hear or not wanting to hear. But I absolutely believe now that calories do matter still on the carnivore diet. For some fortunate guys, they can eat as much as they like and eat intuitively. But for a lot of women, unfortunately, it doesn't work. And I see a lot of women complaining about this on a daily basis in various Facebook groups that they just can't seem to shed the fat. And there's a lot of misconception out there, I feel. And I really just want to put the message out there that there's a lot of conflicting information about how much women
Yes.
should eat, and I'm focusing more on women because it's easier for guys. But how much we should eat and what ratio, what the macros should be. And I know out of my own example that dialing the calories and the macros in and upping my exercise, which is important as well, the walking and the weight training that I did, and I continue to do, made a massive difference in my physique. So if somebody is after health and just maybe shedding a few kilos and a bit of inflammation from their bodies, yes, carnivore alone is magical, wonderful. But if somebody wants to take it to the next level and want to have a really good muscular, strong physique, which I think everybody should do, because especially middle age, we start to lose muscle tone. It's harder to maintain, and we want to go into an old age where we are strong and we stand stable on our 2 feet and we can get out of a chair without assistance. So building muscle and eating adequate protein to build muscle is so important. And guys can eat more. For women, it's a bit of a struggle. And people doing lots of fasting, but they want to lose the weight, it can backfire on them as well because their metabolic health is not in order when they start the carnivore diet. And the lots of fasting, although can be beneficial as if it's done in a targeted way occasionally or with an intermittent fasting to a certain degree, that's good, that can be beneficial, but overdone, it can backfire and it can ruin the metabolic state of somebody, metabolic health further. And women particularly struggle to eat enough on the carnivore diet. This is what I'm finding, that they are massively undereating. They think that they are so full and they are satiated that they ate until they was comfortably starved, but that sometimes is not enough. This is the funniest thing with this, that it's not enough to build muscle. And when you build muscle, muscle is the hungriest organ, or if you want to call it that uses up the most energy. So if you build muscle, then the fat is going to fall off you quicker because the energy is going to be going towards the muscle building. But if you don't eat an adequate amount of protein, then you're not going to be able to build the muscle, to feed the muscle. So it's there is a bit of a science to this that I discovered and I learned during my own body transformation journey.
That's Yeah, look, there are a lot of nuances that I agree with, and what I always say is that let's not lose our open-mindedness just because something was working once. It may be that you need to make changes if you want to further get to the goal that you want. I can relate because I also was in that mindset of let's just eat till we're full and eat till we're satiated. But that can be very hard to achieve, especially when you've only just done it for a year or two. Because think about it, you've spent most likely decades of your life not knowing what satiation means. So
That's
I
right.
think there's yeah, and I think there's a lot to learn from others in the carnivore space, uh, and also to be open about different approaches. So I definitely acknowledge what you're talking about there. I also found that out because I went through the same thing. I stalled on weight loss. Um, and I actually tried different methods, and one of them was tracking macros, which I did not like to do before I went down this rabbit hole because it was something that I had to think about, but it worked. It actually did, and playing with your macros does help. It helped me with the body composition that I wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I do agree with that. Tell us more about this program. I'm very curious. You did this program and you lost 11 kilos. Who was
Yes,
it run
yes, I
by
lost 11
and
kilos
who?
in 3 months. which was
Yeah, tell us more about it.
unbelievable to me. Yeah, so how this works is like with everything, you need to set a baseline. So you need to know where you're starting from, and like you mentioned, tracking your calories and your macros. That's the key, one of the key parts of this program, which I'm teaching now, and I'm coaching people and utilizing with my clients as well. So setting the baseline, seeing where you are at, looking at your basal metabolic rate, which is basically just how much calories you need just if you are lying in bed all day. So for your vital organs and for your body to function. And then on top of that, you put on your exercise that you're doing and you work at basically your daily calorie requirement. And from that, your protein is the determining factor. So protein, there's two ways of calculating protein. You either look at your targeted body weight in pounds and you eat 0.8 to 1 grams of protein per targeted body weight in pounds. Or you can look at your height in centimeters and eat 1 gram of protein per centimeter. So I'm 177 centimeters. My daily protein was 177, or is the minimum 177. And then when you work out your calories, the rest of your calories will come. So protein is the most important, and then whatever is the rest comes from fat. But also you need to look into exercise. So this is not about lowering your food and exercising more. This is increasing your food because, like I said, most women don't eat enough protein to kick in their metabolism, to rev up their metabolism. The metabolism is under the baseline basically for most of them, which means that their body is in constant fat reserve mode. So once you up your food, you eat the adequate amount of protein plus the fat for fuel, then you can build muscle and you're going to have the energy to do that. And the program also includes walking because that's going to put you in calorie deficit. So you still need to be calorie deficit. And I know a lot of people are saying calories don't exist and calories don't matter. I'm sorry, I'm the opposite end of the spectrum now. I totally believe that yeah, they might not exist in the way we are not a closed system, we are not burning anything, but at the moment there's no other way to describe this, so may as well just use it and use that as a measurement. Calories, no matter what the definition is and what it entails or how they work it, and it works. If you up your calories, up your exercise, but you make sure that you're in a calorie deficit, you are bound to lose fat. And this is the key here. You don't want to lose weight. That's why all this fasting that people do, they're going to reduce their calories. They're going to be a massive calorie deficit, but unfortunately, they are also going to be losing muscle while they are doing that. And our goal here is to preserve muscle at any cost, and if anything, build more muscle. And the way to do that is to eat more. And while you eat more, you put more nutrients into your body. So you're not starving your body of nutrients. So you rev up your food, you increase your food, increase your exercise by the walking, because that will be using up the most calories. And then also go to the gym and lift weights 3 times a week. And there's a method to that. There's the progressive overload method, when you keep increasing your weight or your reps to put progressive load on your body, because that's when the body builds muscle. Because then it says, okay, she's trying to lift this much now, but she's really struggling. We need to build a bit more muscle. So this is really I call this the holy trinity of this body transformation. It's the diet, dialing in the calories and the macros, the walking, and the third aspect is the weightlifting. So if somebody wants to achieve their dream body or bring the best potential out of what they have, then this is the way to go. And this is what I did, and
Love it.
this is what gave me the amazing results.
Look amazing, Bernie. Now, if people
Oh,
want
thank you.
to know more about your program and want to give it a try, maybe they resonate with you after watching this, where can they go?
Okay, so the best way to go is to go to my Instagram, and my Instagram handle is carnivores_me. So carnivores as Linus, but carnivores_me. And just send me a DM there, and I'm happy to have a chat and discuss struggles and goals and what people want to achieve. And look, some people might not want to get to this level. I understand that it does require quite a bit of commitment on people's part. That the 3 months can be quite intense, but it can be done slower. And the good thing about the program is that people learn so much knowledge on how to manage their own bodies that when they go away afterwards, they can maintain this easily because they learn how to track macros, how to calculate their calories, how much they should be eating for their maintenance. So I'm 9 months now into the program, but the program was three months, really intense, and then afterwards it turned into maintenance. And I maintained my weight. I built since then even more, a bit more muscle. So look, it's very achievable. And if somebody wants to do it a little bit slower, that's fine. You don't have to lose the 11 kilos or 15 kilos or whatever in 3 months. You can just lose 3 or 4, but you can still aim for a better physique, be stronger, healthier, because health is the most important thing. But it's
Exactly.
hand in hand. So people talk about fitness a lot, but it's the way they describe it. It's quite shallow. There's no depth to it. What does fitness really mean? Having an amazing physique at the cost of not being healthy, which is achievable. People can achieve amazing bodies on an omnivore diet or even a heavy carb heavy diet, but they're metabolically not going to be healthy. The beauty with the carnivore diet is, and this program, that you're going to be super strong, lean, look great, and be strong, be physically good, but you're also going to be healthy, metabolically healthy.
Awesome.
So yeah, this is
Now,
this is a thing.
um, question about weight training. I know a lot of women are quite resistant to try and lift weights because of a couple of things. Usually it's around the stigma of I don't want to look too muscular, or I prefer doing cardio and doing aerobic type of exercises. But you're saying the opposite. You're quite an advocate for the resistance in your exercises. What do you say to those women that you know are bound to this traditional? We've got to do things the girly way, I guess.
Yeah. So the difference between cardio and walking, I rather compare cardio to walking, like running to walking, or your body or your heart rate is going to be in a different zone. So when you're jogging or running or doing cardio type exercises, you actually go into zone two. So your heart rate is going to be about 130 beat per second. And that's actually not that great. You will raise your cortisol levels. So afterwards, you're going to be in a more stressed state, which also can cause to gain fat because you get more hungry. Your insulin is going to be not the greatest, and you can actually put on more weight when the body will go into a fat storing state. So you see these people in the gym who month in, month out, 6 months later, a year later, they're still on the treadmill, jogging, running, and they are not changing really too much. But when you walk, it's a different story. Walking actually reduces your cortisol levels, and your heart rate while you're walking is in a fat burning state. So not going above the 130, that will give you that result. So a brisk walk, but consistently, like going for an hour a day at least, is going to help you much more than torturing yourself doing cardio and doing walks. And if you couple that with the weight training, that it's good for muscle. You're not as a woman. It's not that easy to build muscle. That's the truth. It's not. You're not going to wake up like the She-Hulk, 2 weeks later of going to the gym. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to look like this. But it's
Love it.
it's not overly masculine. I know it's perception, and I was a bit worried about that, but I don't feel masculine whatsoever. And if you don't overdo it, and if you don't take dodgy stuff, you're not going to look overly masculine anyway. You're just going to have a beautiful toned physique that a lot of people are going to be very jealous of.
There you go. I love it. I think, there is a fear when people think about the gym because, you go into a big gym with fancy equipment and you see a lot of people who are well built and you think, oh gosh, I don't really want to look like that. But for the average person who's just trying to look good, I think resistance training, weight training is going to benefit you so much. I work with a lot of, so I'm a nurse, and injuries in the workplace are quite common because we are doing manual work. And I speak from only my experiences, but I overcame injury and I've prevented injury by weight training. And I know many of my colleagues who train in the gym have also, not just built good physiques, but protect themselves from injury. So that's just my 2 cents. But that's awesome. I think that's a really good message, and people need an advocate like you, women who are wanting to lose weight and look good. They need someone like you in the community. So well done.
No, thank you. And then just continuing on what you said, or just a bit of a comment. This is not even. It doesn't have to be about the aesthetics. If somebody is worried about that, it's not. It is about the aesthetics, but it isn't. The main important thing, what you said, is being strong, not getting injured,
Yes.
and it's good for our
Yes.
bones. It's good for our joints. It doesn't have to be overdone in a crazy way. It can be done gradually, build up that strength. And that's the key here. It's more important than the aesthetics. The aesthetics is a nice side effect or another aspect of it, but
Yeah.
it's not the most important aspect. And that's why I think it's so important for everybody to do weight training. It's so important.
Absolutely. And I think it's even more important, as you're right, as you age, you do need that muscle as well because now this is going a little bit further down the age group, but one of the most common injuries that older people get, especially in, I have to bring back my experiences, but in hospital, are fractures from falls. Falls are dangerous. And so, you want to gear yourself up, obviously, make that investment while you're younger so that when you're older, you've got muscle to get up out of bed and, do functional things that you do on a day-to-day basis. And yes, prevent injuries in the future. So well done. I love the message. Let's go into your top 3 favorite influencers right now on social media? The ones that have helped you the most?
Dave Mack, I would definitely say. I think what he's doing is just incredible. The stories, like I said before, I was walking my dog in the mornings at the beginning of my carnivore journey, and I listened to the latest episode that came out, and it just kept me on track. Every time I had doubts in my head that, oh, is this right? Am I doing this right? Am I going to do damage to myself doing this? It just always brought me back to thinking, yes, I am on the right track. This is good. Look how many people are changing their lives and healing themselves with this way of eating. So yeah, him definitely. Also, Sean Baker, I really like the fact that he's very fit and he's showing, what you can do at the age of six. I think he's already 60 now.
Oh,
I
wow.
think he's just turned 60, and I think so. But
Wow.
yeah, he's just incredible what he's doing. And I really like Anthony Chaffee. I like his really calm demeanor, how he just so patiently explains everything over and over. And yeah, just the debates he has with vegans, or he's had with vegans, and he just kept it so cool and calm, and it's amazing. It just really demonstrated how well balanced we carnivores are mentally, how much calmer we are when you're on this diet, and when
Yeah.
you have good fat, fueling your brain and your body, that you are in a different space altogether.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is a solid top three. Um, so shout out to Dave Mack, Sean Baker, and Anthony Chaffee. Let's go with a bit of a fun question here. What is your top five favorite carnivore foods?
All right. Oh yes, I love my bacon and eggs. I have 6 eggs and a packet of bacon every morning, or late morning. So love that. Second favorite will be T-bone steak. Nice thick cut
Oh, wow.
T-bone
Yeah.
steak. I love cooking it on the charcoal barbecue with some wood chips to get that smoky flavor. Really lovely. If I can't do that, I just cook it on the stove top in a skillet, in a cast iron skillet with the ribs, that give you those lines on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
on the meat. I don't know what it's
The
called.
lines, yeah.
Yeah,
Make it look professional.
yeah, yeah. Very nicely presented as well. And also, I have my little recipe. It's a mince soup, so beef mince, and I cook it up with a bit of
Mmm.
bone broth and some smoked salt, and I add some smoked butter as well to it. I love my smoked stuff. I'm from Eastern
Fancy.
Europe. We smoke
This must be a
everything.
small. Yeah. Yeah.
We smoke everything. So
You have to send
smoked
me a
cheese,
recipe.
yeah. It's on my Instagram. It's on my Instagram. I posted it. I
Oh,
put the
I will
recipe
look straight
there as
after
well.
this.
Yeah. So after
Oh,
I cook
lovely.
the mince, and I cook it sort of slow cook it for a while. I like it when it's quite tender. And then I add some water to it. I add some Greek yogurt, butter, smoked butter or butter. And I have to admit, that's not going to be 100% carnivore, but completely optional. I love a little bit of dill pickles just for the sourness a little bit. So a few thin slices of dill pickle in there, but like I said, it's optional. It's lovely without it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a five. Where are we? Does bacon and egg count as
Oh,
two?
that was. That can count as two. Look, it seems to be on everyone's favorite, so.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the
Oh,
fifth
look,
one
that's
would be
amazing.
occasionally I have roast chicken or roast pork. That's probably like it's very, very occasionally when I just every now and then I feel like a little bit of variety, then I would have cook a whole organic chicken. in the air fryer. That's quite nice.
Lovely. Those all sound delicious. I think the reason I asked that question is just to showcase to people that yes, the carnivore diet, you are limited in options, but at the same time, how many ways can you cook a steak? Or, you just mentioned smoking and doing all this. There's so much variety, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It's not that bland. Yeah, so much
No.
variety.
There's different types of cuts. There's different,
Yeah.
roast. Oh, brisket. I didn't mention brisket, but I do love brisket. A slow cooked brisket in the oven. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. And yeah, I do a
Oh,
bit of
man.
smoked stuff there as well, just to get the smoked stuff. And actually,
I'm sure
last
the neighbors will
weekend,
love it.
luckily I live in a house, not in an apartment, so I'm not smoking the place too much.
Yeah.
And I've just recently discovered a butcher here in Sydney. It's out at Liverpool Way, called Milos Continental Butchery. When you step into that place, it's an Eastern European smoked pork heaven. Smoked pork, salami, and
Wow.
sausages, chabai, and all the other stuff, and whole racks of smoked pork ribs hanging off on these racks, and it's just
Oh,
incredible. So they have all kinds of other stuff as
wow.
well. It's pork knuckle, pork hock that you can cook. Oh, just yeah. So that's my kind of carnivore heaven, to be honest, because that's where I come from. In my country, I'm from Hungary. We eat a lot of pork. Pork
Yeah.
is the biggest number one meat that we consume, and then chicken, turkey. Beef is further down, unfortunately, even though it's the healthiest, but somehow pork is the most popular in Hungary. So yeah, I'm used to all kinds of smoked pork
Yeah.
dishes, which
Smoked
is
pork.
lovely and yeah, really delicious.
Pork is amazing. Pork is
Yeah.
amazing. It's also the most common meat in the Philippines as well. So where I'm from, and pork is something that I grew up eating a lot.
Uh,
Unfortunately, yeah, beef wasn't in the not really that common. But well, Bernadette, thank you so much for coming along. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate where you're coming from, and also I'm sure that there are a lot of not just women but men that actually look up to what you're doing and would love to, achieve such a physique where it's like, wow, I look really, really ripped and really, really good. You've already told us where your social media accounts where they can follow you, but maybe is there a final message you can give the viewers for those in particular, those that are starting off on their journey? What are some words of advice you can give to them?
so before I do that, I just remember that I've just recently set up a Facebook group as well. It's called
Oh yes.
Carnivore for Fat Loss because I felt that there was a niche there and basically a gaping hole that needed to be filled in. Like I mentioned to you, I come across a lot of people, mainly women, complaining in various carnivore groups that they can't seem to shed the fat. They're saying that they can't lose weight, but I like to call it losing fat because that's what you want to do, really. So I set up this Facebook group, Carnivore for Fat Loss. So people can also join that and connect with me there. Final message, carnivore is wonderful. It's very good for health, curing all kinds of health issues. If you want to take it a bit further, if you are feeling that you're stuck with fat loss, then there can be things done and it's not that hard. Like in terms, it's simple. There are simple solutions. It requires a certain amount of dedication and work, but it can be achieved. And yeah, people just need to keep looking and connecting with others and finding out because I find that there's a lot of people are going round and round in circles because they go into these Facebook groups and they get conflicting messages: eat more fat, eat less fat. What's more? What's less? eat more protein, less protein, eat this, eat that, and then they're going round and round in circles. And I just want to shout out to them, hey, this is what you need to do. It's simple. It requires a bit of work, but it's doable. It's perfectly doable. You can achieve your goals.
Exactly.
Yeah,
What did Anthony say in Carnivore Live? It's simple, but it's not easy. That always stuck to me.
that's right. It does require some
That's it.
dedication and work, but yeah, it's doable.
Hmm.
It's achievable.
Definitely. Well, I'm going to post on the show notes and in the video description all of the links where you can follow Bernadette. Again, thank you, Bernadette, for your time. And for those who are watching, please follow us on our social media accounts. And until then, we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.